Had a long visit. You know, she asked me something, and after a long talk, she talked to Evelyn and I both. And after a long talk, she says something to me. She says, "Robert, you still got the old piano I played?" She was a piano player. She came to play her piano. And she said, "You still got the old piano I played?" And I said, "Yeah, we still have it." You know, she thought a minute, and then she said something that I thought about this week anyway. And she said, "You know, Robert, it's good that we keep something for old time's sake." That was the word she said. And then she said something else that really touched my heart. She says, "Didn't we have a good time as we served the Lord?" And she was only talking about a few months there. Didn't we have a good time as we served the Lord? Well, I guess it was first years we had a very unique church. Very unique church. Anybody ever went to church and I knew it was unique. There wasn't nothing like it in the whole country. But not only this, we were unique in the fact that we was the only Baptist work between Silver and Glenwood, which was great. It was unique in that respect, but we was the only church in there that could boast of outside running water. Pump didn't work. We had an old hand pump over there. And yeah, we had it. And then we was also the only church in the area that Connie was blessed with some carryover from the WPA days in the outdoor bathroom facilities. If you want to, that was dual occupancy. That was really up to snuff. You know what? It had a bearing on the way we set our services too. Because I tell you, every time that Halloween fell on Sunday, we dismissed night service to avoid any casualties. Always had to happen that way. I'll tell you about our heating system in that church. Had these old heaters, some of them vented, some of them not vented. We had one in particular in the auditorium. Man, and you get out and light that thing on your all fours, and you stuck the match in, you always prayed, "Lord, I hope I have a head when it lights. I hope I have a head when it lights." And that thing had just blew up. I think it was Judy. Caught her on fire one day, burned her britches leg. She was over there 14 years old, cleaning the church, like to burn her up. It was something else. The other heaters wasn't vented. I can see why she brought the canary bird in that. Finally dawned on me. Then there was that old corrugated tin roof. We got a lot of tin roofs in this country. Been here for 100 years. And that wasn't any different. Should have been changed out 30 years before we bought it. Didn't have money though. And you know, it's a funny thing, but we had the only church, I think, in the whole area here that on rainy Sundays, that where you were sitting in the church, it was going to be determined which way the wind was going to blow that water out of that tin. That's just the way we set people on rainy Sunday. But we got by. We spent a number of years in that church. Time went by, and we obtained some pews from the Lawrenceburg church. They had refurnished their church and had these honest to goodness, genuine maple, solid maple pews. And I want to tell you, fellas, this is most uncomfortable pews I ever saw in my life. And I'm still determined. I think I'm going to ask for a refund. I really am. I never sat on more uncomfortable pews. I knew why they changed them out then. But we used those pews. We got these pews. We got rid of the old tension getters anyway. It was all right. We already had them indoctrinated for about 8 years, so I guess it was all right to take them out of the church then. Well, then we got an honest to goodness pulpit that right over there. It was given to us by the old 6th Street Church, the Baptist Church in Silver City. The pulpit was given to us. I just never seen a good pulpit as that thing was. And we're still using it today. Now, as always, you know, we think we're doing great, and we, unlike all the other Baptists, we decided to digress. We boxed in the back end, the porch on the back end of the thing. The first thing that was installed was just a single occupancy indoor bathroom facility. Now that's digression from a dual occupancy. You see, we always try to do good, but we're always getting behind doing it. But at the same time, we overcome it. At the same time, we had the little kitchen. Had a little old apartment stove. Had a little old one sink. Cabinet over the top. nicest collection of dishes you ever saw in your life, every color of the rainbow. Everybody brought these dishes, and they just had room that we could walk around the table, that dining table sorted back there, and you could walk around it and get your food, and then you had to go into the auditorium and sit down in the pew and eat in the auditorium. That's or else you'd go outside, whichever you want to do. But that's the way we had our kitchen. Enjoyed it very much. Actually, the kitchen was closed. If you had an arm-waving preacher, he could have hors d'oeuvres while he preached. The kitchen was built to the toilet. You know, we have one of the boys that came to supply our place. His name's on that list when you get to it there. One old boy that came one day and smelled his coffee, and he preached about 10 minutes, and he said, I just think we ought to just go partake of that food. He said, I just can't stand any longer, and we dismissed, and we went and had dinner after about 10 minutes. Now, that old boy owes us $3.85 because we was paying him $5 to supply that pulpit that day. If he ever comes again, I'm going to give him my money back out of him. Y'all know who he is. If I ever see him, I'm going to give him my money back out of him. Well, in the first 10 years, I think we became a very effective arm of the church. Of course, I might be prejudiced, I'm sure I am, but I think we were a very effective arm of the church. God had used many people in this work. Not only that, but He had put many individuals at our disposal. He had put organizations at our disposal that we could use. And one of the organizations we use, I wonder if you all heard of that little doozy down in Phoenix they call Wings for Christ. That was one of them grab bag for preacher deals, you know, where you just call them and say, hey, send me a preacher, and they'd drop them off on an airplane up here. Didn't know who you was going to get. We used that for quite a little while. It was pretty effective, pretty effective. We were pastorless a lot, and they usually didn't come until after Sunday school would start, you know, and they'd buzz the old church building, just shake the old walls, it'd shake, and somebody'd have to get up and go up to the airport, and they'd always fly them down. They'd look at the highway. It was paved. The airport wasn't paved. And if there was no traffic, they'd light on the highway. And so then you'd have to pick up the preacher, and then they flew another one off down to Columbus or somewhere. And then you'd pick up the preacher, and then you'd have to run down the highway to the other end of the pavement and stop all the traffic so they could take off again, you know. Now, this was quite an experience. We all had our turn at this. Here would come our preacher. And then after service, here would come this plain black, and just time to take this fellow to my house. My wife became famous for bologna sandwich. She really did, and she still is today. That's all we could, just had time to throw a bologna sandwich together. They'd be eating it, and a lot of times they'd be eating it when I hauled them back to the airport down there, and they'd be eating it on the way back down. But that's the way we operated for a long, long time, many months here. We used the Wings for Christ service, and other organizations we used, but that's what I wanted to mention here. Well, we went along for another 10 years, 9 or 10 years, something like 19 or 20 years. We experienced steady growth. There never was a time that we weren't experiencing this steady growth. We had started in this last 9 or 10 years, for the second 9 or 10 year period, a building fund. We wanted a place to worship, other than where we were at. We were crowded. We were hanging out the doors and the windows. The old building's about to fall down. The walls, or floors pulled away from the walls that far. And you go before church and chase the squirrels and put the snakes out and all this stuff and get it all cleaned up before the women come in, you know. That's what we were living in, and that's what we was worshiping, but we wouldn't spend a nickel on because we wanted the money to build a new building. Our fund had grown to $18,000. We had $18,000, approximately that, in our building. I believe that's right, Jerry. You were something like that when we started building. $18,000 that we had saved up. Well, we thought, well, this is no problem. We're ready to go. We had a pastor. So we put it out for bid. Cheapest bid we got, $120,000. Cheapest bid we got, $120,000. That didn't even include the furniture, the building. That was just the building. Well, that didn't daunt us very much. We thought, well, shoot, we want the building. Let's get after it. So, first thing we decided to do is, because we didn't know how things operated too well, so we called the Baptist Foundation of all places and asked the old boy to come down and talk to us. We want to borrow all the money he had. got down here and found they didn't have no money. Didn't bother us anyway. But we didn't know how to, but we didn't get any money anyway. We just put it that way. So, well, that wasn't no problem. We was a mission of the Lawrenceburg Church. Their responsibility to see that we got some credit. That's just the way we felt about it. So we take a crew and we go over and we meet with them fellas in Lawrenceburg. That's pretty good fellas and we want to start this work. I don't see why they couldn't furnish $120,000 worth of credit. That's all. We just wanted the credit. We didn't want the money. Went over there, but you know, we decided to go to the bonding route. But we was going to get smart. We was going to use their credit to buy the bonds with, see? We was going to build this. We went over there and they were entering into a building program themselves with their, I guess that's an educational building these fellas built out in the back, you know. Y'all were just starting to build or getting into that. Well, sorry fellas, we can't help you. And they were going to use our bonding capacity to build this building, they told us. Now that didn't bother us either. We just come back over here and we said, well, now we got a lot of lending institutions around here. We'll just go to these lending institutions. So here was the 4 or 5 of us that gather up together and we'd go into the bank and we'd go to the savings and loan and we'd go everywhere that's supposed to have a little money. And we'd approach him, and first thing they want to know is what we had for collateral. Well, we didn't have much collateral. We had our land paid for then. We just still didn't have $120,000 worth of collateral. I couldn't understand why them fellas wouldn't loan us $120,000, and we had $5,000 worth of property. I just can't understand that. I guess that's the reason I'm not a banker. But anyway, about that time, guess what happened? Lost our pastor. Lost our pastor. No pastor. We were pastors. Well, we thought these, at the time we really thought these were obstacles. We really did. We wasn't daunted too much about it, but anyway, we got to think, well, maybe these are obstacles God's putting in our way here. Maybe there's some time. But you know, we done a little praying about it, and we visited among ourselves about it, and you know what happened? We decided maybe we ought to do it on faith. We didn't know you could do that on faith. You know, we just didn't know faith worked with God. We had never tried it out that well over here yet. And we didn't know you could go on faith. But we decided maybe that's what God wants to do. So you know what we done? We started, didn't we? We started building, and on the day before Labor Day, we had our dedication service, groundbreaking service. I guess that's what you call it, is groundbreaking service. Next day, we staked the building. On Labor Day, we staked the building. And that was in 1979. 1979. We done this on 1979. Well, 3 contracts later, we set 3 subcontracts later. We subcontracted the electrical and the plumbing and the texturing, as I remembered in the building. I think that's all the subcontracts we had. 3 months later, and these 3 contracts later, much volunteer labor. When I say much volunteer labor, I mean much volunteer labor. Not only our church, other Baptist churches, but other churches in the community, and the community in general. There was people showed up here that to work on this church you just can't believe. Now, we never did get them in church, but they showed up to work on the church. We had supporters, money-wise, that would just belong to another denomination, but just hand us money to put in this building fund. And with much volunteer labor from all of these churches in the community, 18 months later, we completed this present complex that you see today, complete with new furnishings. And we did lose a little faith along the end. You know, we financed those furnishings. We just thought we just couldn't do it without financing, so we went and charged them. And you know, when we finished up, we had a completely paid building, had the money to pay for our furnishings that we financed, and we done it all for about $60,000. $120,000, but $60,000. Now that is what you call going on faith. God blessed us because we stepped out on faith. Well, we moved into the building, and then just a short time later, on May the 24th, we gathered together, assembled ourselves together, and a lot of our friends came, some from Lawrence, some of these that are here today. The pastor from Lawrenceburg, and others came from Lawrenceburg, and other churches and friends in the community came, and we assembled ourselves together, and according to the minutes of that day, I went to the minute books and I jotted this down. And according to the minutes, this is what happened that day. It says, upon the reading of the minutes of our mother church in regards to the establishment of this work as a mission, the following motion is made. That we cease our affiliation with our mother church as Gila Baptist Mission and become an organized church to be called Gila Valley Baptist Church. That we continue our association with the Southern Baptist Convention, Baptist Convention of New Mexico, and Southwest Baptist Association. That all present officers, teachers, committees, and trustees be retained in their positions, and that all members of record of Gila Baptist Mission become members of Gila Valley Baptist Church, with the distinction of charter members being given to resident members. And the motion carried. Well, after 21 years from conception, after 4 directors of missions that served that mission work, after 6 pastors of our mother church that served us as a mission, after 9 mission pastors, both full-time and bivocational and interim pastors that served us during that time, we became a full-fledged church. The next 9 years, we continued in that steady growth we had experienced for many years. We added the steeple. We bought the carillon and had it installed. Different church members donated many things. The refrigerator was donated. The microwave oven was donated. I know there was many other things that were donated. Last December, we completed a 3-bedroom parsonage for our pastor and his wife. Same time, we updated our water system. We drilled a new well, put a new pressure system. So, 30 years from our conception, with the help of many individuals over the years, not only those who helped us during the mission years, but during the mission help also that are assisting our mission help, but those who helped after we became a church these last 9 years. There's been many individuals. You look in your program, you find a list. That's a list of everyone who has filled our pulpit that we have record of in 30 years. Some of those individuals have filled our pulpit many times. I think there's 87 names on there. Then we've had 3 pastors in our church since we have organized into a church. We had 1 pastor, we had an interim pastor, and we have our present pastor. They all served us very well. They filled a void when they were here. And then we always have these individual church members. I think we really should recognize, not by name, but recognize the members that served in this work. They were faithful. You know, I'll be truthful with you. I have never known this church to be without, and I'm going to borrow your term, I heard one of our church members, I never did ever think of it this way, but I've never known this church to be without a core of rock-solid individuals who have stayed with the work through the good times and the bad times. And the worse it got, the tougher they served. There's always been that core of individuals in this church. But we recognize that we wouldn't have reached this 30-year plateau. My daughter says don't use that word because that means you've leveled off. I hope you haven't leveled off, that's the case. But anyway, we wouldn't have reached this 30 years, and we wouldn't have prospered as we have prospered, except for God's grace. God done it all. He done it all. It was God that supplied the initial money from the whole mission. It was God who provided that we could remodel and begin in an old building. It was God that provided that we complete this church, this new building, and move in. He has supplied us. He has given us pastors, and He has given us deacons, and He has given us song leaders, and He's given us musicians, and He has given us teachers, and every department He has given us somebody to work in that department and head those departments. And today is a far cry from that first service we have. We have a full slate of services to serve the individuals in this community. And God done it all. So it's by the grace of God that we've come this far. Well, 30 years, according to our records, 232 souls have been served within the church. Many other souls have been served outside of the church. Of those 232, I noticed that there's 17 of them gone to be with the Lord. Others transferred out, gone to other communities, joined other Baptist churches, serving, I hope, there. But you know, we still serve 168 members in this church. And of those 168, 105 of them are resident members. God has been good to us. I look around. I see families sitting here that God has saved and saved their children. And in some cases, their grandchildren. In some cases, their great-grandchildren. In my case, 5 generations have been served with this church. You can't have it much better than that. That's right. Oh, I know that there's times good, though, when you send your girls off to school like Mary did. Dama, I remember, sent her off over to Eastern to get educated. Run across this old boy studying to be an accountant. She brought a checkbook home to show him how to balance one day, and he was hanging on to it, and she never did get rid of it. Sent my daughter off to school, he's come over the football with a player attached to it, and he's stayed. It's good to know that you can bring your children up in the church, and you can send them out into the world, and they associate with Christians. It's good to know. Pointed out to Dan, I said, that's my great-grandson. They got 2 of them. One of them was saved here a while back in the church. But it's good that we all have this experience here in church. But as far as I know there's lots of things that have happened in this church that I probably haven't recollected. You have a tendency to forget. But I am appreciative of individuals like Harold and Mrs. Bishop and Joe and Dan and his wife when they were there, and others that supported our work and prayed for us and supplied the means. And it made it a lot easier. It made it a lot easier for us to know that they were doing this for us. And I think that, well, I don't know, I'm kind of a fellow, you know the old piano, that's all we got left of that old building. Where's that old piano? It's going to be gone someday. So I'm kind of like Mrs. Watson. The old piano isn't going to last forever. So I think that we should, for old time's sake, have our memories. That's enough. And I think Mrs. Watson pretty well covered it. She's speaking only the first 5 or 6 months of her work here, but I think she covered 30 years pretty good. she says, well, haven't we had a good time, serving the Lord?
Mhm.